Hi, Gen Z. Who are you? You are the digital natives born between 1997 and 2012 who value individuality, diversity, and social justice, and are passionate about short videos and social media. As natives of the internet, you have been fed a deluge of information from a young age. But do you often find yourself troubled by the social news that comes from the internet? Every piece of news could be fake, real, or somewhere in between. I know your anxiety doesn't stem from no truth, but rather from there might be a truth. What does that mean? Huh. You know you will fail the course eventually after slacking off for a semester. Yet you are not afraid. So I ask you, if the professor says the grades might be wrong, you could be a D or even an F. I don't believe you won't get anxious. I know you neither firmly believe in old generation's notion that everyone in the newspaper is true, nor respond coldly with data for reference only, like AI does. You have become the first generation to browse trending topics while dotting life, embodying both the clear-headed and the anxious of humanity. Why are you more adept at obtaining information and more eager to find the truth than any previous generation? Yet, paradoxically, more anxious and further from the truth. By the way, what do you really want to know?
How can I tell you? The fat cat incident that caused such a stir not long ago. Do you remember? Such a young life was lost. How can we not give truth? We are still relatively clear-handed. They all make mistakes. They all suffering, and the poor love weird fat cat, whose girlfriend has probably think about it. Has anyone ever had a good ending?
Did no one get a good end? Aren't they making a lot of money? And aren't there still you who didn't get good results? Like you who are being manipulated by public opinion. What is the truth you want? Is this a mass uprising for the victims? Or a battle over truth among different groups based on their own positions? Is the truth important? Have you noticed before? Is someone exploding your sensitivity to information for their own gain? Who is asking you to pursue the truth? I don't seem to care about the truth, and maybe not everyone does. I only believe what I want to believe, but I still trust the newspapers occasionally, and perhaps some of the political news that is broadcast by the authorities on television. Times have changed. Look, the social currency attribute of social news have become real wealth. Forgive me for my frankness. You are simply like wheat field being harvested for free by capital. Your pursuit of truth have become their source of profit. What? Whose profit? The manipulators of the attention economy. Attention merchants. They skillfully employ techniques such as emotional manipulation, topic segmentation, and truth calling to gain traffic. Is Gen Z relentless pursuit of truth a rational awakening that breaks through the information cocoon? Or an unconscious descent into cognitive imprisonment? Imagine an underground cave. The entrance faces the light, but deep within the cave, a group of prisoners have been chained since childhood. They cannot turn around and can only stare straight at the cave walls in front of them. Behind them is a low wall, outside which a pile of fire burns, casting shadows of puppets holding objects onto the cave walls. The prisoners see these flickering shadows all their lives and hear the occasional echoes from the puppeteers. For these prisoners, the shadows are the entire reality. They name the shadows, discuss their patterns, and even bestow honors on those who can predict the movements of the shadows. Anyone who claims that the shadows are mere false projections will be considered mad. Until one day, a prisoner is suddenly released and forced to turn towards the firelight. What will he experience? Pain, the intense light blinding his eyes, unable to see the puppet or the flames. Confusion. He realized that shadows are mere illusions. All past knowledge is lies. Resistance. He might want to escape back into the familiar shadows, refusing to accept the new reality. If he is forcibly dragged out of the cave into the sunlight, he will first see the moonlight, reflections in the water, and finally face the sun. Suddenly, he understands that the sun is the source of everything, and the shadow and the cave are inferior imitations. As he begins to pity his companions and returns to the cave to tell them the truth, due to the sudden shift from light to darkness, he will temporarily lose sight of the shadows. He will be mocked. His companions will think he has blindness, insisting that the shadows are real, and may even kill him. Exploring the truth requires both reason and courage. Yet most people prefer to live in a comfortable illusion. It is important to recognize that human cognition has its limitations. You often take the particle information received through your sense as truth, making it difficult to confront more complex realities. Behind this cognitive limitation lies the passive passion of the underprivileged in the power structure, especially when everyone has potential to become an object of consumption by traffic. Have you noticed that for ordinary people, the desire to seek the truth has long surpassed curiosity and become a survival strategy to resist systematic risks? In a context where real-world channels for rights protection are inefficient, judicial procedures are lengthy, and evidence collection is costly, online public opinion has been forced to become the final transit point for justice. Even knowing that this is a vortex filled with noise, people clearly understand that every voice may be distorted and exploded, yet they must use the truth as a weapon to save themselves. This helpless choice is essentially a passive game under unequal power dynamics. When individuals face the complex system of capital, institutions, and algorithms, the only truth they can grasp is to transform personal tragedies into public issues, leveraging public pressure to break through information barriers. You have to face the harsh reality. When the cost of rights protection offline is high, the truth chase on the internet becomes the most cost effective form of self defense. Although we know that trending topics will eventually fade, public opinion can cool down, and even plots can reserve. But for ordinary people whose lives have been disrupted by rumors, in the war initiated by attention merchants, even if they can only make a little noise, it is still their last stand against systematic destruction. This is not the paranoia unique to Gen Z, but the survival instinct of vulnerable groups in the digital age amidst an information deluge. When truth becomes the only weapon you can hold on to, even if it's riddled with cracks, it must be swung towards the darkness. In the information plundering battle woven by internet, Gen Z is both a new generation of explorers and a bewildered group in distress. From the public opinion whirlpool of the fat cat incidents to attention merchants, traffic harvesting, and onto the helpless struggle of marginalized group with truth as their shield, we see not only the game of truth and falsehood, but also a microcosm of human cognitive dilemmas and existential anxieties in the digital age, when social currency replaces facts themselves, and the carnival of traffic obscures the light of reason. Perhaps what Gen Z truly needs is not an obsession with absolute truth, but a trained mind capable of critical thinking, able to define their territory of independent thought in the torrent of information. After all, in this attention grabbing battle without gunpowder, clear self awareness is the ultimate weapon against collective disorientation.